Are swimming pool skimmers dangerous? Skimmers are a suction point for your swimming pool, and the truth is that they are something that can be dangerous, and you should restrict access to them. All modern skimmers will have two little recessed holes for screws such that you can lock or restrict access. And this is especially for, children who might, wander up and take the lid off the skimmer and play around inside there, or worst case scenario, they could fall upside down into it, or they could potentially even get entrapped if there is a single suction point from a pipe that connects directly from the skimmer to the suction side of a pump. So that's the real concern with a pool skimmer, is that you wouldn't want somebody who is not respecting the potential power and danger of a suction point on a swimming pool to get in there and start playing around. Like, I'm sure it would be a lot of fun if you were a little kid to play around in a skimmer, but it's definitely too dangerous for something like that. One thing is a lot of people store chlorine tablets in the skimmer. You shouldn't. You shouldn't put chlorine tablets in your skimmer, but a lot of people do that. And there's a couple of ways that this could be dangerous. For one, you certainly wouldn't want a little kid to, be touching chlorine tablets directly. But a bigger concern for me, and one of the reasons why you're not supposed to put chlorine in your skimmer, is if you turn your pump off, that chlorine continues to dissolve, and it continues to get more and more concentrated within your skimmer until you have hundreds of parts per million of free chlorine in that skimmer. And it's so powerful that even taking the lid off can give you such a blast of chlorine gas that you can go temporarily blind, have trouble breathing, end up in the hospital for a checkup. So imagine a little kid wandering over and taking that lid off the skimmer. They are much closer to that chlorine blast than what an adult would be, and so it would be very serious. So there's the chemical concerns, there's the entrapment hazard concerns. There's also a concern, depending on where you live. Where I live in Ontario, Canada, we don't really deal with a lot of dangerous things like venomous snakes. But in a lot of areas of the US, there are venomous snakes, and they tend to end up in pool skimmers. And the same can be said for venomous spiders. So, that's something that you need to bear in mind. You don't want to necessarily just open up the skimmer by sticking your fingers in and opening it if you live in an area that has venomous creatures that might be waiting in there for you. I don't mean to scare you, but that is the reality of swimming pool skimmers, is they do tend to harbor quite a few creepy crawlies. Everything that ends up in your pool is going to end up in the skimmer at some point, and they're not usually too happy about being there, and they're pretty excited about the opportunity to get out, and that is you reaching your arm on in there. So be careful about that when you're dealing with your skimmer. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.